Okay, so what we're here having are a couple of different ways to put a PVS 14 on a helmet. Okay, so right here is a PVS 14 monocular. This is a white phosphor unit. This one has the lightweight battery compartment, so you have button selections instead of the knobs. And this is like 3 ounces lighter, I think, so it makes a bit of a difference. This is also a little white phosphor unit. The components that are part of your setup are, you're going to have what's called a rhino mount. That's just colloquially the name, or it's just a mount. You have 2 different brands that are going to be out there that are pretty prevalent. You have Wilcox, which is your more premium option, and then you have Neurotos, which is basically what's a general issue. These guys contract for everybody or within the DoD, and they make most of the mounts for PVS 14s. This uses a bayonet style mount. This is a Neurotos Rhino 2. You can see, I don't know if it's got a part, yeah, it's got a part number on there. Anyway, this is actually a pretty decent Rhino. If you're going to do one of these, you want the Rhino 2. The reason being is it gives you lots of degrees of adjustment. It is forced to overcome, which means that you articulate it over or into position, so it'll fold itself down like that. To adjust height, you'll loosen this, and you can slide this up and down. To adjust your tilt, you can adjust that here, and then your depth is also adjustable this way, right, allowing you to move the goggle in and out. If I'm going to run a Rhino mount on a set of nods like this, if I'm going to use a Neurotos, this is the mount to use. You don't want to use the other style that has the little teeth you squish and then you adjust it back and forth. Those tend to bind up and they're pieces of shit. This will give you the ability to pan. It gives you the ability to adjust your height. It's just, you don't get that out of the original Rhinos. And if I'm only going to run if I'm going to run this style of mount, this is the mount I will use. Your J-arms are kind of all the same. They're flexy. This is what I mean by a bayonet style. And that when you put it in here, so you push that in there, it is locked in position. The way that you adjust it is you will loosen this nut up, and then you push and rotate. Let's see if I can loosen it up enough. And you can move it. There's a lot of different positions that you can select from, and that's kind of nice. Like, admittedly, that is a cool feature. It allows you to get this set where you want it in your eye, and you get a lot of adjustability out of these. One of the nicer things about these is you can get your eyeball a lot closer to, or get the nods a lot closer to your eye than you can with one of these Wilcox mounts, just because of the fact that it brings it back, you know, about an inch. Okay, now you can use, now this, I guess we got 2 different types of interfaces. You have your bayonet mount, and then this is for like PVS 7s, because PVS 7s have this built into them. PVS 14s, however, have a threaded little chingy D on the side of them. All right, and then this is for their auto shut off feature. So if you tilt them up or if you shock them, it'll auto shut off. And there's a little, you can hear, maybe you can't hear it, but there's a little ball bearing, little switch in there. This can cause continuity issues, so it's kind of annoying if you don't have everything all plugged in and doing what it's supposed to. It can do dumb shit. So J-arms are okay. They're kind of flexy, and I don't know. It's not bad, but I like other things better. So when you go away from, this is just, we'll call that a standard J-arm. This is all Neurotos brand stuff. This is your Wilcox stuff. Now, also, this is your Neurotos shroud that goes along with it. These are kind of nice. It's titanium. This is also a titanium unit as well, so it's nice and light. These guys are cool because they keep them from rattling around a lot. Again, if I'm going to run this system, I like this shroud. and that's the term for this Chingadero on the front of your helmet. Now, this is the Wilcox setup. Now, this guy doesn't have as much adjustability per se, in that you don't have individual clicks that you can go around with, but fit and finish and overall quality is a lot better. So it still will attach to the side of the goggle, Viso, okay? But you've got what's called the dovetail style mount, and this dovetail is what's on top of a PVS 15. It's the standard dovetail interface that you'll find on any set of like dual tube night vision goggles, okay? So this is the soft standard or SOCOM general issue mount. These are about 430 bucks. So anything that's Wilcox is going to be more expensive, but in my opinion, it is a superior tool. Everything that they do is a lot better fit and finish. So like your interface here, if I can get my hands in place, like it's just very nice. It clicks into position. To fold it up on the front of your nods, you push this button, or sorry, on the front of your helmet, you'll push this button and it lifts up and out of position. It stows really close to your head. And then the same thing, you push the button and it drops down, locks into position. You have the same adjustments. You have tilt, you have height, and you have depth. But the Wilcox G34 is a really nice mount. Now, if it were me and I wasn't trying to spend a whole bunch of money, I would buy one of these. This is the Rhino 2. Again, this is like as good as it's going to get, and you can run one of these guys. You can get other Rhino mounts that use dovetail. I don't like the Neurotos dovetail adapter. If I don't have to use a dovetail, or if I'm not going to use this setup, I might as well just not use dovetail, and I'll go with the bayonet style Neurotos standard general purpose bullshit. This is another adapter that you can get. This will go into the side of your 14s, and it allows you to interface with a Wilcox styled mount. Again, this one doesn't really have a whole lot of adjustability. This is another Neurotos part made for the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps tends to like have a lot of that sort of stuff rolling around. The only downside to these is they're just not quite the same fitment. So because Wilcox and Neurotos are like competing entities, their shit interchanges, but only just barely. And Wilcox is the like more expensive brand, I would say, but they make better shit. This is kind of your Kroger brand stuff, and this is your NAM brand stuff. Interfaces are going to be the same in the helmet or in your shroud. So this is an Ops Core. This is a low cut Ops Core. It's the ballistic helmet. One of the things that's nice about Ops Cores, I mean, they're expensive. If you can find one for cheaper, they're definitely worth it, namely for the suspension system and their overall weight. So it's going to be a lot lighter helmet than an ACH. And when you wear it on your head, you want it to be light. The downside is you don't have the ear coverage. So a good compromise, if you don't want to buy an Ops Core that's like a contract overrun for 800 bucks, would be to buy an ACH and then get the suspension system for your ACH. And that would be probably a good way to go, because you've got this dial liner on the back. You don't have to wear your chin strap. These chin straps are nicer anyway. They're leather lined. You can also buy these for your ACH. So if you do go with that, you can get all of these things for an ACH. Now, to your interface here, these also have a breakaway feature. Some people like it, some people don't. I don't have any problems with it, but you'll notice that guy stows nice and close to the head. And then when you're running your googles, that's about as good as you're going to get for a PVS 14. Drops down onto the face. Like I said with these, the only downside is that they don't bring them super close to your eye. I like to run my stuff close, but it's a trade-off I am personally willing to make with these. This is a breakaway feature up here. So you can set this to break away. I generally tend to not have it set in that fashion. But that's something for guys who don't want their nods broken off their head. So come back to here. The releases are almost always in the same spot, so it'll pop into position here. All right, you notice that it wiggles around. That's one of the annoying things about these, whereas like this guy, come now, like it doesn't wiggle around at all. So that'll be a lot more solid on the helmet. You can account for that, but it's just a point of order, really. Okay. And then your J-arm snaps into the front like that, right? Like I said, forced to overcome. It's not bad. It kind of stows it parallel, but the Wilcox setup is, I think, the superior option. So that's kind of the ins and outs on these. This is an example of one of the 14s that like would come from my buddy's company that does all of my stuff. I mean, you don't have to be into it. Oh yeah, look at this weapons rack in the room. Got the old fucking ACR, been doing work. All right, I'll turn off the old light here, and then I will power on this unit, I think. Is it? Oh, that's awkward. He didn't put a battery in it. We'll have to do that. Fix that in post. Is there a battery in it? Oh, that's a real toad maneuver, Gian. All right, let's see here. It's my toolbox. All right. So, benefit to these kinds of setups is that, again, you don't have to fart around with knobs. Interesting. Backwards batteries, they'll get you every time. All right, here we go. So power on. Oh, and he's got the IR illuminator on. So this room, I have it set to be like blackout. It's about as dark as I can manage to make a room. There's the lights coming off that. And we can adjust, we've got the gain set really down on this guy. Oh, look at that, that's the low battery light. But obviously if you turn the gain up on it, it'll look better. Let me see here. All right, there we go. So here we have the gain turned all the way up. Pretty standard for White Foss in a room. These are Elbit XLSH, or yeah, XLSH. But yeah. Get it to focus, you fuck.